In this video, we're going to take a look at my personal Astrocade collection, and we are going to take a look at it more over the next few videos. In this one, we are going to focus on taking a look at what's in the garage and also a compilation of books of documentation that I have made. This is my Astrocade collection, or 6 boxes of it that are here in my garage. I am going to show you each of these boxes. This one is labeled as Astrocade Console, Upgrades, RAM, Video, Multi-Cart, Homebrews, compilation books of build your own computers, some VHS tapes that have Astrocade material, my shoebox recorder, carts, joysticks that are brand new, 2 Astrocades that are working, my Astrocade setup, part of it's inside, and that's also labeled as Astrocade. I used to have a few more Astrocades. I traded them off, loaned them away, things like that. This is just 6 boxes across the garage for me. I have another 10 boxes, so that brings us up to 16. Inside I have 2, so that's 18 boxes of Astrocade material. My book shelf has many Astrocade books, so I probably have 18-20 boxes of Astrocade material, way more than I really thought about, so this will be good to go through it and see what I have. Now the other side of my garage is a total mess. I don't know how I'm going to show those boxes, but I do want to show them before I bring them inside and start looking through these. This is going to take up more than one video. I didn't realize I had so much material until yesterday when I started going through it. So let's see what's on the other side of the garage. Again, I am outside in my garage. What you're looking at here are 9 boxes, actually 10 boxes, and then there's one below that, so 11 boxes. You can't see that one, and I'm not going to bother getting it in a shot. So I'm going to go through some of this stuff. The plastic boxes are material mostly from the Bob Fabris collection, and that has all been scanned, and it's all available on my website or on archive.org in some fashion. Yeah, lots and lots of stuff. I'm not going to concentrate too much on looking at all this in a box. What's the point of that? But I just want to show you, I've got a lot of stuff, and it's not that I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you have a lot of stuff, drag it out once in a while, take a look through it, see what you have. I know there's many collectors out there who say they'll go a decade without touching some of the stuff they own, which is how I used to be when I used to be a collector, and I don't do that anymore. And one of these days I'm probably going to donate this material to a museum or something else. Like the Strong Museum of Play or something like that in New York, I think. It's been suggested to me several times. Some of it I still need to go through again, and some of it I want to get better scans of some of the color material, because it was scanned so long ago that to do a good high-res scan just wasn't plausible at the time, and not have it online. Nowadays, it's very inexpensive to host material, and of course nowadays it's also archive.org. So I'm going to bring some of this inside, but first I'm going to try to show you some of the material that I have inside my office, or one of my offices, and that's Astrocade material, and we'll see if I can't take a look through some of that. This might be a little strange angle, but this is just one of my bookshelves inside the house that has some Astrocade material. These are all bound copies of various pieces of documentation that I use frequently. All of this documentation here would be things like the Arcadian. This is volumes 5, 6, and 7. You can actually get all of this yourself. All of these are printouts of material I already have online, and they're actually just from the PDFs I made and I printed them. This is additional material, books and such, Z80 books. Here we have my blue RAM in a box. This box contains many cords that I use with my Astrocade for hooking it up to computers and such. And yeah, all this has to do with some documentation or other. And I also realize I have 2 more boxes in here that are Astrocade, not just Astrocade related, they're only Astrocade material. And I'll show those to you next, if I can figure out a good way to show them off. These 2 plastic totes this one's Astrocade documents, and this one is all the notes that I've put together for my podcast. There's 17 episodes or something like that of the podcast, so everything is in different folders there. And this is the documentation that I use from time to time, so I keep it all handy. And so I would say I go into this box, I don't know, at least once a week. In this box, I don't know, every month. I'm going to try to do a quick, so you can see what's inside here, because it's kind of cool how I have this all organized. And all the boxes outside are organized in this manner too. Well, some of them, the ones that are in plastic containers. So I'll give you a quick peek inside these. I'm not going to take anything out, but I will show you what's in them. Let's take a quick look inside of these two plastic... I don't know if you could hear me over all that chatter. Let's take a quick look inside these two plastic cases. And as you can see, there's some folders. And so we have Astrocade miscellaneous material, Bally to do, which is very long. We have podcasting notes, and all of this is on the various podcasts all the way up through 17, and also 19, which is coming up, which we'll see when we get to that. And maybe even, I think, 18 is noted in there too. I've got some pretty cool material, I think. And on this side, this is stuff I go through on a pretty regular basis. I've been working with Kevin Bunch on some stuff. I've got some of his emails here. A lot of these things are things I'd like to do, but who has the time to do everything they want? Wavemaker conversions that I've been playing around with. When I took out Pack Rack 2, you probably can't see what that says, but I'm not going to go through all this, I guess. You can't probably see it very well on here. But just look at it this way. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably 30, probably about 35 folders in here. And they're all labeled pretty good, so I know what's inside of them. Of course, I picked up something that wasn't labeled. Here we go, Incredible Wizard Disassembly. So that's some of the disassembly I've done in that work. Cosmic Raiders Disassembly, stuff like that. Notes on what I've done for myself. And I do want to note here that I had planned to bring in some of the boxes that were inside the garage that I've just shown you. But I realize now that they're super dusty, and I can't really bring them in without being able to dust them off a bit, at least, because they're just... I mean, we live in a desert here. Right now, it was beautiful about an hour and a half ago. It was super sunny. Today's about the middle of March, and now all of a sudden it's really windy. It's not going to rain, but it's like the sky has turned black. And I was hoping to hang out with my wife a little bit later and maybe have a beer outside in the sun, but we are not going to be doing that. We are going to instead be staying inside and maybe having a beer inside. Nothing wrong with that, is there? But one of these things that you see all these folders here, I want to get away from this kind of thing because I think this sort of, I try to be too precise, and if I just go off the cuff and talk about stuff like this, I don't think I get my point across as much. But if I can make 3 times as many videos and still get half of what I want to say across, that's better than not making as many videos and still not getting what I want across. And partially, I think people are kind of interested in the Astrocade and what I might have, just because I've got Bally and it's been up there for, gosh, about 20 years now. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is, what am I going to show next? I was going to start looking through some of the boxes next, so I guess I will pick some boxes and go through that. Actually, I don't know how easily this will zoom up, but I'm going to kind of, so maybe I will choose some of these. These aren't exactly boxes, are they? But I will try to choose some of those, maybe zoom in and pick some of that. These are 12 Coil-Bound compilation books that I've made over the years. I think I started making these about 2001 or something, or 2002. So the first of these were just compilations that I made for myself of newsletters and stuff like that. And this is all stuff every single book here is available on ballyalley.com, and you can download them and print them on a laser printer, hopefully one you own, because if you were to print all this material, it would be a lot. But I'm going to try to cover these, and this is probably what I'm going to do in this video and wrap it up. I had hoped to get to some of the boxes, like I was saying earlier, that are in the garage, but I'm not going to do that because it is really nasty outside, and have my garage open to get some light, it's too windy. And I was hoping to bring out my Astrocade, or my 2 Astrocades, and try to get one of those up and running, because that's what got me going on this. Is I wanted to not show these books here. I wanted to show some of the hardware I have in some of my collections, so that I could dig out my 2 working Astrocades and get the one that I recently damaged up and running again, or hopefully up and running again. So I'll show you what these are. I'm not going to spend too long on each of them. Maybe it'll get you interested in trying to find some of this documentation. It's all available, like I said. And if you want, you can read it on your tablet, read it on your phone, read it on your computer. Probably not your phone, it would be a pain. You read it on your computer. Sometimes I'll read some stuff that I haven't printed out on my old iPad. Sorry, man, can't even think. But I'll stop this, and I'm going to show you what this stuff is, each one of these, what the compilation is. These are compilations of the all of the Astrocade material that I have. This is volumes 1 and 2. I printed these out from the PDFs that I created around this time period. This was printed out on May 23rd, 2002. This was also printed out May 23rd, 2002, and I printed out volumes 5, 6, and 7 in 2001. Well, a long time ago. All right, I'm going to flip through these briefly, but like I said, you can look at all this stuff online. Yeah, I encourage you to print it out so you can read it. It's much easier to read if you are able to read it from a book. Remember that let me see if I can't find a full page ad here. Well, here we go. Here's some ads. Some of the ads are just, I mean, these are actually black and white, not grayscale, the scans, so they're not that great. Although nowadays on archive.org, I do have all the grayscale scans done. In fact, they're from the original material. Let's see, I can't maybe end this on a really cool full page ad if I can find one. Oh, here's one. I thought so. Yeah, sort of a full page ad. This is from Miss Candyman and Sea Devil. This is from page 29 of volume 6, number 3 of the Astrocade Arcadian. So I'll kind of jerkily zoom in on that just for my own amusement. But this is the kind of material you can find. And of course, you can just go to Bally and find this. By the way, these are third-party games, so they did have ads. If you saw this in the, like this game, I think is, you'll see for a couple $100 now, and same with this one, although this one now has been done recently and re-released because it's in the public domain, and so is this one, I think. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, because it was just recently released by the Bitfiddlers. Yeah, great. Now I'll show you maybe just one of them, and then I'll show you some of the other compilation books I have. This is the Arcadian, volume 5, 6, and 7. I wanted to show you my favorite volume, which is volume 5. It is about, let's see, it's 182 pages total. And of course, you can't really see it great here, but it's my favorite volume, I think, because this is sort of when, and this is 1982, so already this is about 4 years after, almost 4.5 years after the Astrocade was out. But if you were looking through all of the Arcadian issues, I think you'd see that this one has the most ads, which is good in this case because you can find new material. The Astrocade was still in the stores. It was being sold by Astrocade or /Astrovision. And so we'll take a quick look through here. But you can see like Castle of Horror. They've got 16 tapes available from Wave Makers. Monkey Jump, Castle of Horror. Some great little games written in BASIC. And here you go, you've got your basic type-in games. And I'm probably getting in the way of my camera, as I always do. Another full-page ad. This is for Exeter's Revenge by L&M Software. This game has a great title screen. The game itself is kind of slow, but it's a good example of using machine language graphics, which are built into the ROM. It only works in AstroBasic, and this is tape number 16. So there's a lot of software out there. A lot of it's been archived, but not all of it. And there's even missing software that was from popular software companies. Like I think there's a couple of programs missing by L&M. There's definitely versions of AstroBasic stuff missing by Wave Makers. Here's an article on how to use the character display routine that's written in the ROM, and you can't see this very well, so I'm encouraging you to take a look. Here's how you can buy the 16K and 32K RAM expansion. So if you wanted the blue RAM in 1982, it was, let's see, you'd get the 32K version and the blue RAM basic for $395. If you wanted the 16K version by itself with the basic cartridge, it was $275. Nowadays, you can't even get those. You can get the little white RAM, though, which kind of does it. Here's LT. Let's see. I think that's about all I'm going to show from here. I'll go through the other books. Let's see, what do I have here? This is how I make title screens when I'm archiving software. I use this little program here. Let's see. Here's a program by Ken Lill. He had a column, not a program, a column, and this is in the April 4th, 1983 issue. Ken Lill is actually a active member of the Astrocade community. He wrote this 37 years ago, and he just called me yesterday. So pretty interesting. He wanted to help me out getting my Astrocade running. So thanks, Ken, for calling me. Very awesome, man. Yeah, I'm going to wrap that up here. I'm going to show you very briefly some of the other compilations I've made over the years, and hopefully that encourages you to make your own. These are compilations of various newsletters for the Cursor, Basic Express, which is really the same newsletter. And these are actually copies of photocopies. I never had the originals of these. The originals that were in my possession for a little while got thrown away when I lent them back to someone. And I know that the originals of most of the Cursor and the Basic Express were for sale on not on YouTube, on eBay. I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago for a while, and eventually they sold for, I don't know, a couple $100, I think, or at least, I don't know, they were offered for $100 for all of them. And if you happen to have the Cursor and the Basic Express, the originals, I would like to get better scans, so contact me and I would get those in grayscale. In fact, some of the pages are in color in that newsletter, so that would be interesting. And get better scans, like for instance, let's see if I can't find that page, I just passed it. Well, but some of the pages were printed in such a way that make them hard to photocopy, so some of the pages I have don't look great. They're readable, sort of. Let's see, what do we have here? So that's there. I'll go over to the other side. There was another newsletter, the Astrobugs, Niagara Bugs Bulletin, 94 pages. These were brief, but they had some programs in them. Some of them were from other newsletters, but not all of them. If you wanted to get the Viper, this is not the Viper that was ever released, I don't think, but it would have been cool if it had come with the 5 1/4 inch floppy. But I guess maybe it's still out there somewhere, I don't know. Christmas card for 1983. I don't think that's typed in. And I want to type it in, let me know. Type it in. Make a video of it, please. What else have I got in here? I think I have some... here's instructions on how you'd hook up a keyboard to your Astrocade, like a full-size keyboard from 1983. So, I mean, people were doing neat stuff back in the day. What do we got here? Oh, this is in the Arcadian. There was a series by the game player named Michael Process, and he had, I don't know, 20 or so reviews, or 21 columns, and each of them he reviewed 1 to 3 games, I'd say. So we reviewed probably 40 games or so. There's that. Yeah, what else we got here? Some magazine things I printed out. Okay, all right, let's continue from there, and I will show you some of the other compilations. These 4 compilations are all of machine language stuff. This is the nutting manual. It's actually called the software and hardware for the Bally Arcade. I use this more than anything else when I'm using the Bally Astrocade. This is the same thing, but this is the original retyped version, which I put together along with some people in around 2002-ish. It probably says 2002, yeah. And now, of course, this is the original. And at the time, I didn't have the original with the red. This all originally used to have this red thing that made it hard to read, but I eventually scanned it in color and was able to remove that using Photoshop. Here we have Machine Language Manager documentation, another various documentation for the Astrocade, all machine language related. This is other machine language documentation like the Z80 mini course, things you can't really read from your point of view, but it's all online. If you're interested in the Astrocade, it is out there. I encourage you, again, to try to download some of the stuff, read it. If nothing else, download it and see what you think of the Arcadian newsletters. Those are great. They're out there for you to enjoy. One of the neat things about the web that I've been able to use to my advantage over the last 20 or so years, and many other people have as well, is you can get information and curate it all in one area. Sure, you can use a search engine to try to find it, but if it's all in one place, even if it's on a place like Bally, which is hard to search through, you have to kind of go through it manually, or use Google to search my own website, or go to archive.org and download the entire website in one blow, and then you can search it on your local hard drive. But I've found some neat items over the years. For instance, this is the patent for the system, which I'm going to show up close. This is information that was sent to me by Tom DeFonte. This is all the Z80 and ZGrass documentation, or some of it. This is just various stuff that I have from my website that I've gotten from it's actually all before I had the Bob Fabris collection. So this is from the Richard Hauser collection. Just tons and tons of things. I have 34 different things in here. And then I have, what, about 10 different documentation. For instance, I have Perkins Engineering Hardware, 64K RAM board, which I don't know if anyone has it anymore. Michael White used to own that. If someone bought that from him, I'd be curious to know who has it, because I'd like to have some pictures of it. Let's see, General Video Assembler. That's written by Dave Eibach, and I was contacted yesterday. Someone's going to be interviewing Dave Eibach again. So I got to come up with some information, maybe some questions, hopefully, if I have some time. Here I am making videos. Yes, I have the time, probably. All right, so I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you the Z-Grass the Z-Grass notes, and then we'll see what else we've got. And I think that might be it. Yeah, so I'll probably end up just showing this, and then I'm going to wrap up this video, and in the next few days I'll try to make some video of going through my boxes. So like I said, so this is the patent, and this is patent number 4,301, or 4,301,503 from 1981. And I think there's a really great picture of the Astrocade in here. Yeah, check that out. Yeah, that's worth zooming in on, but I'll do that maybe in a little bit. So this is a hand drawing of what they thought the system might look like. And man, if you have the time, download this from the website and look through it. You won't understand everything, but it's worth looking at anyway. And one of the great things about this is the patent. It's already available from the Astrocade, from the nutting manual, but it's also available in the patent. So I don't know what other systems have it like this. Like if I could find the patent for maybe the APF. The APF MP1000 also has like a 2K built-in program, and I don't know if they have the source code in their patent. I think that's weird that they do, because the patent's usually for hardware, but I guess nowadays, maybe even by back then in the early 80s, you could patent software? I don't know. But this shows you exactly how the Astrocade works, down to the nitty-gritty, timing, everything. And of course, I guess you needed to do that. It even shows you, I think, how the chips are built from the inside out. So tell me if that is cool or what. Yeah, so that's that. Give that a try. Download that. Take a look through it. You might enjoy it. If you're a hardware hacker, for sure. If you're just into the history of the Astrocade or playing the games, you might want to download maybe the game player reviews, or maybe some of the Arcadian or some of the newsletters. What we have here is documentation for Z-Grass, the language that was supposed to have shipped eventually with the Z-Grass add-under, but never did. But the system was released in the early 1980s as the UV1 computer. A very rare system. I only know of one person I've talked to in the last 20 years who has one that was 18 years ago. I've talked to other people who used to have them and trashed them all, even though they were very expensive machines. I mean, eventually they were outdated and they didn't keep them anymore. But Z-Grass was made to manipulate graphics quickly, and this is how to use it. Unfortunately, there is no copy, or the software has never been dumped. And there are several different versions of it, but there's no version that you can run. The software is not available. But if it ever becomes available, and when someone finds it, it can be used. There is a prototype of the Z-Grass add-under from about 1983 that was bought by the Video Game Museum in somewhere by Dallas, I think, in Texas. So it's possible that will be done someday. I've tried to contact them, still haven't heard back from them. So if you are part of the community and you know how to get a hold of those fellows, maybe you can say, hey, maybe we can get a dump of the Z-Grass language. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Maybe I'll leave it open to this page. This is an excerpt from the volume 12, number 3, August 1978 issue of the SIGGRAPH, and which used to be a get-together that was, I don't know when it ended. I don't think it's going on anymore, but it was for graphics, and I think it was all computer graphics. Don't quote me on that. Probably wasn't, considering if this was the volume 12 and it's in 1978, it probably wasn't. But it was definitely graphic art. And for a time, the Astrocade, even the Astrocade was used in some ways. That's why there's so much video art that I've archived. Some of it was actually used for the SIGGRAPH. I'm not sure how to say that. Yeah, well, all right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to wrap it up there. And there's so much material in Bally Alley that I've put out there so other people could use it. I hope people take advantage of it. Hopefully someone will use it someday to write a book or two. It's just out there for anyone to use. The Astrocade is an unusual machine that has got so much documentation for it that hasn't been lost over the years, because there were some collectors out there starting in the 70s for the system because they were so fond of their hardware. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll bring you another video going through my collection in the next few days or week.